everything I ate at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant at the Savoy. Gordon Ramsay has 58 different restaurants and I have never been to any of them. So when I was invited to try restaurant 1890 at the Savoy, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to see if the Gordon Ramsay name lives up to the hype. So this is one of Gordon's newer restaurants. It's a very intimate dining space, seating only 26 guests at a time. I started off with a French 75 made with Rococo gin and it was absolutely spot on. The snacks arrived and I immediately reached for this lobster cornetto filled with deviled mayo. It was the perfect balance of creaminess and freshness. Next was the gougere filled with Montgomery cheese and topped with malt vinegar. This was rich, smoky and sweet all in one bite. This beef tartare with truffle and artichoke just tasted like decadence in a bite. Our first paired wine was this citrusy Austrian Riesling. This perfectly complemented this creamy goat's cheese custard, which had such lovely bursts of freshness from the pea, asparagus and mint. Our next wine was something I have never seen before. It was a blend of 6 different grapes and had been aged for 18 months under the sea. The wine was fresh and dry with notes of vanilla and cedar, and I think I'm going to insist all my wine is aged under the sea from now on. Our bread course consisted of these adorable little fluffy rolls. I love assorted condiments with the bread course, and here we had some delectable butter, some honey, and some mulatto with lemon, thyme, and Iberico ham. Our next course was salt-cured langoustine, which has quite a similar taste to lobster. This dish was such a textural journey, and I especially loved the pops of freshness from the tomato berries. The next wine we had was a rich and silky white that paired perfectly with our sea bass course. The fish was super tender with perfectly crisp skin. The velvety herb hollandaise complemented that fish perfectly. However, the white asparagus and comfy razor clam on the side felt a little bit disjointed. After all that wine, it was definitely time for a bathroom break, and can we just take a moment to appreciate the toilets at the Savoy? Absolutely stunning. I arrived back at the table to see the waiter carrying the most giant bottle of wine towards us. This was so extra, but you know what? I'm here for it. This full-bodied red was paired with our final course, which was a crusted rack of lamb. Guys, I cannot even explain how perfectly this lamb was cooked. This came with a morel mushroom that had been stuffed with sweetbreads, and I enjoyed this more than I expected to. The next bottle of wine was a little anticlimactic because it was just a regular size Sauvignon Blanc. This was paired with a very special Swiss cheese called Tête de Monde. It was super earthy and nutty and complemented really well by the refreshing green apple, celery, and cucumber salad. Our first sweet dish was a raspberry melba, which combines all my favorite things in one dessert. There was crunch from the buttery shortbread, creaminess from the sweetened goat's cheese parfait, and then tang from the raspberry on top. Our final drink for the night was a rich dark port. This was served with a hazelnut souffle with a cacao nib ice cream. The souffle was perfectly light and fluffy, and I really enjoyed the hazelnut flavor. One of the only flaws of the meal was that cacao nib ice cream. It was just a bit too bitter and salty and kind of overwhelmed the whole thing. But wait, the meal was still not over. The finale was, of course, the petite fours. There was this passion fruit and juniper jelly, which I'm not a big jelly fan, but this was very nice. Then there was this whiskey and cacao macaron, which was just so rich and decadent. And finally, there was an egg custard tart, which was very heavy on the nutmeg, but I am not complaining. So hats off to Gordon. This is honestly one of the most flawless meals I've had in London thus far.